There's a stubborn little myth still encircling spirituality, like a hungry mosquito in a meditation hall. It says that the liberated being must behave like a monk, shaved head, silent tongue, family-less, celibate, have the perfect Ayurvedic diet, basically humanless. This myth says that to walk the path of truth, he must go into a Himalayan or Arunachala cave and renounce dinner conversations, Mario Kart, and so on, basically renouncing life. This is not true at all. No. Someone asked me on the comments to make a video about this, so here we are. Yes, there is a time and place dedicated for formal practice, for solitude, for social abstention, for silence, and so on. This is absolutely true. There are seasons for retreat, for stepping away from the noise to rediscover your inner song. These phases are sacred, they are beautiful. They carve space for stillness and insight to flourish. But we shouldn't confuse this with being liberated. Yes, many saints and sages of the past walked away from their families. They renounced their names, fled their villages. But renunciation is not sacred or divine. It was necessary for them at the time. It was their karma, their path. They had to break free from the roles that they were drowning in. So it's totally fine. But please, do not turn a sage or saint's biography into a blueprint, into a dogmatic, narrow view of the path. Principles can and should be used as a foundation, but definitely not as a cage. For me, separation was never the starting point. Why should it be? Why begin with separating myself from family when the truth is non-separateness? Why would you reject the very mirror that can show you your edges? The presence of family or normal life are not distractions. They are also part of the path. They can even be accelerators. They can press every button, expose every egoic wrinkle, ensuring you can sell your escape into some lofty spiritual theater where you could pretend to be beyond everything. If anything, having a more modern, non-ascetic, integrated approach can save you from becoming stuck later on. The truth path doesn't really lead you to become absent from manifestation, from life. No. Enlightenment is not an allergy to human life. And look, if you've read my autobiography, you know how much time I actually dedicated and spent in formal practice. I love to practice. It was the best use of my time, of my energy. It was like a furnace of purification, of insight and direct realization. I know its importance, but I also know how to have a more integrated, balanced and grounded approach. Like I said earlier, it just depends on the phases where we find ourselves in life in the spiritual journey. Do I think a lot of formal non-dual practice is required for liberation? No, I don't think so. I know it is required. So it's not a call to abandon practice, just for more integration, for a more grounded and holistic approach. The path of liberation doesn't lead you to disassociation from your human experience. Lofty, otherworldly experiences and absorptions, they occur, they are welcome. And sometimes they're even required for insight, for experiential understanding, and for fundamental shifts in your identity. But they are not the be-all, end-all, and they are not liberation. The path, the true path, leads you to renounce illusions, not life and not love. The path, the true path, leads you to renounce falseness, not truthfulness. The path, the true path, leads you to see through the dreamer of desire, not to suppress desires. Renouncers, they rarely renounce renouncing, so they never go as deep as they could. And you are not a sterile statue. Don't misunderstand me. You don't really need a partner. You don't really need a family. But you also need to shave your head and become an ascetic or fast for weeks or chant your name into extinction. No, liberation doesn't ask you to abandon life. And if anyone ever asks you to abandon life, stop listening to them. What liberation asks you is to live fully and nakedly in your being. You can awaken in a monastery, sure, but you can just as well awaken in a minivan stuck in traffic. Enlightenment is not allergic to noise. It's not hiding in silence. It's hiding in you, regardless of the scene, the story, or the family dynamic. Let me say this with clarity and with fire. There is nothing incompatible between liberation and family. That is just the mind trying to build fences around the infinite. Again and again, do not listen to its fabrications. Truth doesn't care if you're married, single, or even polygamorous, celibate, or somewhere in the middle. The truth doesn't care. What the truth wants to know is, are you available? Are you available to be undone, to be cracked open by life? Are you available on a Tuesday morning when you haven't slept well and your partner says something that triggers you, that touches something raw in you, that triggers you and you didn't even know it was there? Life can be your fiercest teacher. A true, genuine teacher is like life. Sometimes the nicest, the kindest, the most loving human being you've ever met. Other times the most fearful, uncompromising, delusion-destroying gaze and presence you have ever experienced. I don't give sermons, but I won't let you get away with your spiritual BS. Life is also like that. When life is your ashram, where can you run? Where can you run away? Life will always find you. Yes, of course it can be difficult. It can be relentless and even exhausting. But God forbid your delicate little snowflake ego mind melts under a little bit of sunlight. Life is exactly where you are. Life is your Arunachala. If you are meant to go and live in the mountains, far away from the mundane society and life, that's good as well. It's not up to you to decide, because you have to meet life exactly where life meets you, which is here and now, not in any mental fantasy. There is no perfect spiritual setting that is not now. So should you become a monk? Maybe. Or maybe you're already in the perfect monastery, wherever that is. Disguised as a relationship, a heartbreak, a daily traffic jam, a fly's buzzing noise disturbing your recognition of awareness. And each just occurring just as about you're kind of getting into an absorption. That's life. We don't even have to confine ourselves to monk or householder or even to a sannyasi. These are just waves, and they can all be valuable, useful phases of your life, of your path. But they're not permanent situations. They're just waves. Sometimes you're a monk. Sometimes you're a lover. Sometimes you're neither. Just a nobody walking barefoot in silence. And however life moves through you, let it guide you. This is really life whispering, let me dance through you.